Back then, I thought that throat cancer was the winner. I was wrong. Today's topic is about dealing with depressing things. This is a very touchy subject. There are a lot of things that people don't like and don't want to hear about. But I'm doing it anyway. Now, somebody somewhere will be like,
"Do your research. Your examples of clinical depression are wrong."
I will hereby clarify what I mean by depressing things. Stressful situations, difficult to handle, things that make us feel sad. I am not talking about clinical depression. I also have to clarify things for another unique set of people that the words coming out of this video is for entertainment and self-reflection purposes only. Advice is simply advice. I am not instructing and I am not a professional. Everything is situational, so use brain. Now we can begin. Have you ever had that feeling where the world is pressing on your shoulders, your head, your father's head, your mother's back? Every body part that can be pressed on feels stressed. Something big was probably happening in your life, right? And usually it's something you weren't comfortable doing or you felt it was unnecessary. But why is everyone making such a big hassle out of it except you? It's one thing going through life not liking what you're doing, but when there's 20 of those things happening at the same time, it's bound to make you a little sad. Sad isn't the only thing. You are also, say it with me, stupid. Why are you doing 20 things you don't like at the same time? I feel sad for you, but don't worry, I am here to make us both happy. The first thing you have to do is determine the problem. This is the formula. What is the problem? Why did it happen? How to solve it? Teacher, you said what, why, and how? What happened to whose, where, and when? Okay, whose problem is it? Yours. Where is the problem? With you. When is it happening? Now lah. You watching this for what then? So, example of a hypothetical problem. Why don't I have a problem? Let's say what's making you depressed is your exam results. What is the problem? You are failing. Why are you failing? Is it because you are playing games too much? Are you partying more than studying? This is the step where if you are not honest with yourself, you cannot solve it. Back in my uni days, I was playing games non-stop. I used to play Dota, LOL, CS, Gone. That doesn't sound right. Whatever. My grades were slowly dropping. Compared to my friends who game almost every day and yet they did very well with their studies, I had to accept that I was just not as great as them in academics. So now we answer the questions. The problem was that I was failing. Why was I failing? I was gaming too much. So how did I solve the problem? I stopped playing games. If you've been human being long enough, you'll know that sometimes it's not always as straightforward. I stopped playing my games, but I identified a new problem that caused this in the first place. My addiction to games. I mentioned this before in a different video that if you cannot fix a problem, then you remove the problem. Fixing your problems will make life less depressing for you. Just imagine, if you have problems you know you can fix and should be able to fix, but you sit on your bum ignoring all of them. That's only one thing. Imagine the rest of the other problems haunting you every day and every week. Of course you're gonna feel depressed, right? Those of you who are like, I don't have any problems, that itself is a problem. I am genuinely concerned with people who are ignorant to things in their life. This is how stupid people become stupider, and when they reproduce in their bubble of stupidity, you start to have these dumbass generations voting for politicians incapable of running a country. I am not that worked up. I just cannot solve the problem. Which brings us to the second thing. Don't go looking to fix other people's problem, especially when you have your own issues. I don't know how many times I've had people tell me things, it's like a giant issue. How did you even get into this kind of mess? And then I find out it started from her friend's sister's boyfriend's cousin that had a problem. Everybody started putting their hand into the cookie jar. Now everybody's stuck, the jar is about to break, and everybody's gonna get hurt. Stop meddling in things that have no relation to you. You can give advice, you can help a few times. The moment it starts becoming an inconvenience where you have to stop your daily life to involve yourself, don't do it, man. I'm just giving advice, and just doing that, I'm already exhausted. Another possible thing that might stress you out is not knowing your purpose, no direction. Why do people who have everything sometimes say that they are depressed? Well, because they've already gotten everything they could think of. But if you're watching a video like this, chances are you have nothing. So where do you go from here? How do you decide what your life's purpose is? Well, what do you want to do? If you're an above average person, you've most likely questioned your position in this world. And most often than not, it's a simple case of just wanting to feel useful. What are you useful for? That's what it means to find your purpose. Find something fulfilling that brings value to the world. Best would be if it brings in money so you can survive long enough to continue doing what you want to do. I'll probably make a separate video about this one because my notes right now here is long. I get a kick out of giving advice, which is why the channel started pivoting. And let's be honest, you don't want to see my crappy speed art. The easiest thing I can tell you right now is find out what you're good at and just do that. I would end the video right here, but it has come to my attention that someone is going through a lot right now and is in need of answers. It's the question about the passing of someone close. Why do good people suffer and ultimately die? How I personally handle this is by telling myself there's nothing else we can do for this person. They are gone. They are better off this way. That sounded worse than I intended, so let me explain why I said it. Why they are better off gone is that they have lived a good enough life or they have suffered enough. Whichever way you want to look at it, to put it very bluntly, it's better that they are no longer hurting. I'm not saying this from a place of ignorance. I've gone through this. My grandfather had throat cancer. He suffered a lot, couldn't breathe comfortably for quite a while, and we had to keep him on painkillers. All was fine for a while, just that we knew it was tedious for him because there's a lot of medications, there's a lot of doctor's appointment. We checked him into old folks home because at the time my parents were very busy. One day at the old folks home, the nurse tending to him was readying his bath and he was awake. He was smiling and waving, so I would conclude that he wasn't in pain. But when she went to get him, he had already gone. It was my first time having someone close to me pass away. I had this guilt. He was the one who raised me when my parents were at work, and I don't blame them because life was very tough for them. As I grew up, I didn't get to spend time with him because I also became busy. Actually, no, that's an excuse. I was wasting time. College wasn't that important to me. I knew it, but I wanted to make it work. Well, it didn't, so I lost both things. I held this burden for a very long time, and guilt is a funny thing. The more time you spend thinking about the event, the more it grows to a point where it becomes invasive and it starts to take over every other aspect of your life. Whatever happened in the past, whether you could have done something different or could have done something better, it doesn't matter anymore. That situation has taken place and it's gone. Learn from it, move on, and just don't repeat. We're not built to carry burdens. We are meant to learn from them. You made a mistake. Yes, everyone makes mistakes. Forgive yourself. That's how you deal with the depressing side of guilt. Now, let's say you are dealing with a different kind of situation where a friend has passed away, a good friend. This friend has done nothing but good things in life, and yet, for example, cancer took over. They suffered towards the end, and then they just pass away, just like that. No heroic recovery, and you feel this injustice where the world has all these bad people and nothing really happens to them. why take a good person, right? It's a valid question, and there is an answer and solution for your grief. Good people die because there is evil in the world. I could probably sound more sophisticated than that, but down to its absolute simplicity, it's just that good people die because evil is present. Now, I'm a Christian. I admit that many of us tend to brush the concept of death under the rug, expecting everyone else to trust what we're talking about when we say Jesus has saved everyone and therefore no one will die, will inherit eternal life. I do believe in that personally, but I want to talk to you in a way that if you're non-Christian, I want to talk to you in a way that will help you cope with the death of a loved one. Why you have to move on is, think about it as an act of respect. If a good person died and you continuously mope around, aren't you giving credit to evil? Think about it. You are doing a disservice to the dead by giving attention to the one that took them, and you are simply brushing off the effort the person has put in over the course of their life. Why talk about how death claimed a good person when you can instead say how great the person lived? My grandfather was hardworking, loving. He was a good man. Back then, I thought that throat cancer was the winner. I was wrong. My grandfather is the winner because I'm here to tell everyone he took it like a real champion. And the event of his passing taught me to think of things this way in order to help you. I'm not saying you shouldn't be sad. I'm also not saying that you shouldn't mourn for those who have gone. I'm saying that after you have cried your tears, paid your respects, you have to move on. Death didn't take away the things good people have done. It just stopped them from doing more. So respect them by doing your job. Continue with your life. A season of doubt is an opportunity to learn. So get off your backside, start solving problems, learn from your mistakes. That's how you live a happier life. Only if you want to.